Okay, and now we're broadcast on YouTube now. Just launching. Okay, I'm going to send the link for some people. There's a few friends of mine who wants to be here, but they're not confident enough to talk with us, but I'm sending the YouTube link. And I hope they join us next meetings. So, guys, today's topic is technology and education. How technology is present on education. So, please, Leticia, do the honors and read the first question for us.
Okay. How was technology present in your schools days? I think their technology is present more in private schools compared to public schools, and I think it's a big difference when you talk these both schools. And if you talk about technology, I think the kids learning how to use the technology to improve their education, for example. I think it is.
But what about when you were back to school, in your school days? Did you see anything? Did you have computer? Did you have classes with, I don't know, movies?
In my school? In my school?
Yeah, in your school.
Okay. It's a long time ago. I don't have computer and I use the projector. And sometimes the others old technology, and I start to use computer when I was 14 years old, because then I increased the little schools about how to use the computer. But it's outside the normal school. It's different courses.
Nice, very nice.
I started to use DOS. the other time,
I guess it's been some years ago, right? Just a few years ago.
A little bit.
What about you, Murilo?
Okay, I agree with Leticia. When as a child, in my schools, a little learning English. I started a lot of English when I started studying technology in my university. Yeah, because I have survey a lot of subjects about technology, yeah, and these all in English, yeah, for founding Maurice, that I wanna, yeah, and I started with more often last year in English, but before I didn't know speak my name. Yeah, more simple situation, more simple speak. Yeah, that's it.
Nice, very nice, thank you. Heitor, share with us your experience during your school days.
I have the same problems of Leticia. I think mimeograph and slides projector was the most technology than the fake stuff then I used it. So the first time then I see a computer was in 1996. I have an uncle then open a information store. It's it's very weird because no one knows computer in that time. So they start that, and my father's bought a old computer, 486 with DOS and Windows 3.11. So it was amazing because I had all the games of all the Atari's games in my computer. It was very, very fun. And I think we don't use the computers or anything in school in that time because they don't exist actually. So I think the mimeograph was the most technology thing that I see in the school.
Nice, very
Today-
nice.
Today exists a lot of schools bilingual for children, yeah, for small students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Before in old time has also or no? Because my parents haven't didn't have any money and I studied in public schools always.
It's funny because
It's bilingual, it's a lot of time it's happen or no? It's
I
new.
remember when my aunt was a child, they have French class in the school.
Really?
English wasn't, English wasn't a useful language. No one wanted to learn English. French was more popular. It's very fun. Yeah. My aunt knows how to say something in French and don't have any idea how to say a lot of things, anything in English. So
Wow, I love French. I think it's such a beautiful language, but I have studied French and English, and with no doubt, French is much harder to learn, much, much harder. I think English is easier to learn, to understand, to write, to speak. Today I speak English, but I still learning French that I want to speak with fluency. Also, I take some French classes here on TNT. It's very nice.
I learned a little bit of French. I think French is more easier because I think it's more
Really?
closer. Yeah, more closer of Portuguese. They have,
Oh.
I don't know. I think the same idea to learn Portuguese and French are the same. I think, in my opinion, English is much difficult because you have to translate everything in your mind and change the position of the words is,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's very hard to,
During a question.
yeah, remember that. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Nice. Thanks for sharing your experience, Heitor. Nathanael, can you share with us? Do you remember how was technology in your school days?
Yes, I remember. There was a computer room, but
Nice.
they really two computer for the wallet school.
Uh-huh.
É isso que eu lembro.
That's okay. Thank you. Very nice. Well, guys, about my experience, I remember that we had that old, I don't know the name in English, retroprojectores. I don't know if you know. It's a big gadget like that, and you put a sheet under it, and it displays on a transparent sheet, and it displays on the wall. It was very nice. And what else? I studied on a private school for a few years, and on that school we had a lab with some computers. I don't know, there was a few computers, not much, not many, but it was very nice. And once a week, I guess, we had a class in the lab, and we learned how to use Scratch, Paint, some pretty simple stuff, but it was really nice. Okay, so the next question, Nathor, please.
How did COVID change the education system? Actually, in my opinion, the education get a decrease with the COVID pandemic, because I don't know, maybe the students lost a lot of things, and they able to hiding from school, if I say that. I remember a case, then a student changed the name for connecting to escape from the, the class. I think we're gonna have a lot of problems in the future because that. So, but in other ways, I think in private schools, when they have used to use computers and technology stuffs, maybe they won't lose a lot of things. Maybe the level of education is keeping going in the same level.
Okay, nice, thank you. What about you, Murilo?
And COVID changed a lot of education system. For example, and technology can study in homework and not need stop at study. People continue in your house, yeah, and create a lot of new courses, online courses, yeah, for learning, and even courses for mind, psychology, and helps a lot of, because COVID prejudicate a lot of people with disease of mind, yeah, psychology problem psychology, yeah, psychology problem. And education was amazing. Technology was amazing for them. Yeah, that's it.
That's right. Thank you. Nathanael, what about you? What do you think?
In my opinion, school have invested in technology that helps teaching through the internet, apps, website. I think it was a new step. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. I guess COVID accelerated the process of technology impacting education. Leticia, share with us, please.
Okay. I think the COVID create a big differential, and I don't know how to explain this. I think the COVID create a big difference when you talk about the private schools and the public schools, because I remember I watched in the pandemic the public schools in the countryside don't have any idea how to use, any idea about the technology, but the teachers try to create a new material for their students. And I think this part create a big differential in this education. And but in the other parts, I think this COVID create a new environment about in the future how to use the technology for education. But in Brazil, it's complicated to talk about this because the social economic it's a big problem when you talk about the education system in Brazil, and it's a big level.
Yeah, you're so assertive, Leticia. Thanks for always bringing so many important ideas, important points about the subject. That's right. I agree with you, and I think it was very, very hard because it separated even more the difference between public and private schools. Because for private schools, most of these schools, they already have a structure. So it was not that hard. I'm not saying it was easy, but it was not that hard as for the public schools, because we say here from a different place, because there's a population, there are schools that they are away from the city, and not even the students, but the teachers, they also face the problems because not everyone knows how to use a computer, how to give a class to a computer. It's very different. They were used to have a classroom full of students, and now they are here on a software on the computer talking mostly with students that they don't show the camera. They're talking alone a lot of times, and I guess we're still facing a lot of problems, and we're dealing with a much bigger issue about education that we need to take care very, very carefully.
In my opinion, there is another problem. Our education system is not prepared to use the technology because I think the students receive the technology. Not it's an activity when you study. It's common to sit in a class and listen the teachers, not improve your mind to find a new things. And I think the educational system, it's not prepared to use the technology about this.
Yeah. And even there's another issue that even if they can watch the classes through a computer or a cell phone, a lot of students and teachers, they don't have access to the internet. And if they do have access to the internet, it's not a good connection, and it keeps lagging, and they can't understand, they can't follow the class. It's very difficult because not everyone has a room, a silent room where they can sit and they can listen. There are so many things they live with. We've been through this during work too, on quarantine. There are so many things happening in our homes, and it's difficult to keep focusing on a task where there are a lot of things and a lot of people happening here in our homes. Murilo, please, question number 3.
Okay. Do you think students from the public school system had the same opportunity to keep studying during the pandemic as students from private schools? No, for me, not. It's a big difference because the people's that the studying in private schools have a lot of this is better situations in your housing conditions, né? Better conditions for good equipments, yeah, good computer, the students that study the most students that study in public schools have a not have a good computer and not can improve more fast than private schools. Yeah. If the students has good equipments, make sure this is improving more fast. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard situation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very hard.
depends, and but not have compared. It's a big big problem. Big, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you. And what about you, Nathaniel? What do you think?
I think no, not. The investment was much great in the private school that in the public one. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Heitor,
In my opinion, even before the pandemic, the difference of level of studies is much different because let me give you an example. I have a son with 4 years old. Next year, they will have in their school robotic and mind makers, something to start to think with a logical. So it's very amazing
Wow.
because I never see anything about that when I was in the school. Maybe when I get some around 14, 15 years, they will be able to start working with some things relation with technology, something then I have to wait for 20, 25 years until have a mind uh, established to think about like stuff like that. So I think when you invest in a good schools and you not in the only in the schools, you have to give a good environment to learn about that. My son used the cell phone since he was 2 years old. So, and in my opinion, it's not a bad thing. Okay. Some people say, oh, he's too young to use cell phones, maybe, but I think he will just use something technology because it's gonna be part of her life for the rest of her life.
yeah, about that, it's a very different generation for us, and I guess most of us we still find it's very different because oh my god, I didn't touch a cell phone until I was 13, 15, 20. But technology was not that, it was not very easy for us to have access. So it must be very gratifying to be able to have to provide to your son this opportunity to study in a school where we'll have a robotic class. When I was at school, it was my dream to have a robotic class, but things are changing now and we have to be open to that changes because we have to move on and to learn and to be better as a society because as Leticia said, we have many deeper problems and education is just on the top and we don't see what's happening there beneath. And we have other problems that is impacting education. What about you, Leticia?
When you talk about public schools and private schools in the pandemic, it's possible to see a big level about the educational system. For example, in the pandemic, it's more clear about this because if you think all the teachers and the students are the same problem, but you see the different opportunities when you talk about the public and the private systems. For example, when you talk about public schools, it's the quality of the educational, it's lower. It's lower. But the other problems, it's about the economical system. The people use these schools because you think a little cell phone with 3 or 4 kids in your house with the internet, it's the worst, and all other the parts of your family inside the same place, it's impossible to focus when you can set about this. And if you want to talk about the private schools, the opportunities, it's too different because the economical system when about the people live in this, and your kids, it's possible to use a private school. You have a space, you have a good internet, you have a good computer to use, and the environment, it's too different when it's possible to different opportunities in the future. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a big problem.
Awesome, Leticia. Thank you very much. Nathanael, do you want to read question number 4?
Okay. During the pandemic, Brazil was the country in which children and adolescents spent the longest time outside the classroom. How do you think this time can be compensated? My opinion is this issue is complex, but I think that one why would be to improve the quality of the entire education, infrastructure, books, and teachers.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. What about you, Murilo?
Technology can resolve this problem, yeah. But how I said it before, a lot of students in vulnerable situations and without conditions for buy good computer and all have computer. Yeah. A lot of children without computer, without cell phone, yeah, in vulnerable situations. But technology can resolve it. And the book is how Nathanael said in these situations. Yeah, how do exercise for housing and but this nowadays are already it, and it's a big problem for a government created a program and for children receiving one notebook or cell phone for studies. Or college, né, has it for learning more fast. Yeah, that's it.
Guys, there is something that I'd like to share with you. I'm working in the State Secretary of Education. So I'm seeing a lot of nice stuff. For example, one of the projects that we're working, the state have already distributed over 100,000 Chromebooks for the students in the the state's public schools. And another project that they have, they are acquired. They're not distributing yet. They're buying virtual reality glasses. And I saw it myself. It was really nice because I put the glasses, and when I looked to the side, I could choose the classes, history classes, chemistry classes. And on the chemistry classes, I was inside the lab, and the teachers, they were doing the experiences, they were teaching. So it's very nice. I don't think it's easy to solve this problem on a short period. I guess it's a very long-term project to compensate. I don't think that the children that they were during the pandemic, maybe they can't be compensated their education, unfortunately. But I see that COVID challenged a lot of people and our country and our states. And I see, because I work from there in the inside, it's happening slow, but it's happening already. The public students from the schools, they have notebooks, and they're able to take their notebooks to their houses. And the teachers also, they're getting notebooks, and it's step by step, but it's very nice. And I'm very grateful to be there and to watch these things happening. It's very interesting. Enough talking, please, Leticia.
Okay, I agree with you. I think it's a step by step, and it's during a long time to recover this part of this education life. But in my opinion, when you talk to children, I think it's easier to get attention this when you use or you integrate these children in the school. But when you talk about teenagers, for example, I think it's a little different, because there is other types in their life. I think it's too different. But in the first time, I think to increase teachers and the other educations to use the technology and to get attention of these students to recover this time or recover in a short time this period in the future. But I think it's a big problem, and the government and the society there is in the future about these periods. It's 2 years, but it's 2 years now. But in the future, I think it's possible 20 years about this.
Yeah.
Because the different economy, the society economy, classes sociais, I don't know.
My keywords.
Social classes. It's.
Yeah, that's right. Heitor, please.
In my opinion, it's impossible to revert that. I think the gap between a good studies just grow up and getting more deeper. I don't know, maybe we're gonna see that in the future. But I have a controversial opinion about that, because I don't think the pandemic is the principal problem in that. I think the school lost the interest of the students. Maybe if you start to redirect the interest of each student, you maybe, in my opinion, we have to see for each human as a different human, okay? Maybe some kids have more difficult with, I don't know, Portuguese or science, and have more easy way to learning with exact subjects. I think we have to redirect that, because they will be able to grow up more faster. and maybe be more effective and better professionals in the future. I think it's, unfortunately, we teach some things that are a complete loss of time. And I don't know, maybe in my opinion, we have to think about how to change the way then I treat our child. Maybe start to learn more about technology instead of, I don't know, it's hard to say some things because sometimes you, as I said, I think like history. In my opinion, history is a complete loss of time. You have to teach something about, I don't know, then can use, but we have a lot of people then, oh, I study history on the college and the university, but it's just my opinion, okay? Don't, it's not a necessary truth for everyone, but I think you have to redirect how to cheat them and what cheat them.
Well, about the pandemic, I don't think either it's the main problem of the education, but I guess it evidenced even more the problems that we faced. So that the problem that was this big now is this big, and now more people can see it. So the gap is much bigger, and it's very hard to compensate that, but we have to change the full structure of society and education and the learning process. So it's very complex, but it's very important that we have this in mind so we can start thinking about it and doing something about it, because the sooner we think and do something about it, we can back off the problem and stop that it's growing. Heitor, number 5 or, okay, number 5.
Okay. Inclusive education came to welcome students with disabilities and truly integrate them into the society. That being said, how can IA guarantee inclusion and equity in education? It's a hard question to talk about that. In my opinion, equity, it's like an impossible dream. Unfortunately, I think just we have this difference since the word was a word, okay? I think it's the same phrasal in the English, but it's much hard to include some people. And I don't know if EA can guarantee that. Maybe EA just a group, the people in the same disabilities, if I can say that, okay? And I think the theory is totally different because you have to a group different kind of human being to spare the knowledge and experience. Maybe in that way we can learn about more with one, with others. I don't know if EA is able to decrease this balance.
Okay, thank you. I guess technology as itself can help a lot of people with, for example, a blind student or even a deaf student, that while the teacher is learning something, there's some, I don't know, maybe a computer, maybe a spot on the phone, maybe there are a lot of possibilities. I even don't know where some of them, but I'd like to hear from you guys. I know it's a hard question, but I like to make you think, because it challenges myself too and challenge you guys. Nathanael, please. Share your opinion with us.
I believe that AI can help this audience to improve the intellectual capacity of which through the methods that create stimulation for the brain. That's what.
Right? Thank you a lot. Murilo.
I agree with Victor. It's a hard question, but yeah, can identify a lot of problems in vulnerable societies, yeah. Identify problems and resolve the problems with capacity. Students in our colleges and the government provides these equipments for. This is complicated, but if government collaborate with society, it can happen a lot in the future. Yeah, and I have one situation, for example, for personal situation in last year. I received one information that the children was needed one computer for because dream of children is working with technology. These children living in Piauí, I think, yeah. And I think, but I have one notebook, my unique notebook, and my unique personal notebook, but I have a work notebook, a notebook of my company, yeah, two notebooks, but one personally of my company, and I think I gift my notebook for children because I can another notebook in the future now, not have problem for me. And I gift notebook for them and for realize the dream of their dream. Yeah. And I am happy. I'm so happy with it. And we have changed or make our part in society, yeah, and it's can a lot of change.
Wow, Murilo, that's very nice. Congrats. It's a very beautiful gesture.
It's and I received one photo with children with my notebook. Yeah,
Cute.
children. My notebook is a good equipment and SSD and a good performance for my.
Wow.
Yeah, not have problem that people's that need more of me.
Very nice, Murilo. Letícia.
Okay, the questions today, it's too hard. Okay. I agree with inclusive education, but at the moment, in my opinion, it's a step by step, and there is a bubble about this. For example, if you think about us, I agree. Us don't have contact with people who has a disabilities, for example. Because it's a specific environment when people has a disability, people live in a bubble too, because it's not it's not inclusive like education or speaking about this in a normal social, for example. But I agree the technology, it's possible to equality this education, but in my opinion, in this moment, it's a step by step, because now the people talk to more about this. In the past, it's impossible to talk this. It's not, the people don't have idea what they use, what to integrate these students in the school, for example, in the society. Now, we talk about this, and it is necessary to talk about inclusive education. A few months ago, I was working at Nubank, and Nubank talked more about inclusive education, because there is a lot of programs about people to integrate the disability peoples in the work, and I listen more about this, and now I have a different opinion and compared to a few months ago about this. I think the education is the key about any times of in my life and the other lives.
Wow, said everything.
Okay, I think it's a good question, and it's necessary to talk about this.
Yeah, at one point, what Heitor said about equity, yeah, I guess you're right. It's very, 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 very hard to reach it, but we can use, and we have to use technology to diminish the gap in the education, because we have so many problems during the pandemic, public versus private schools, and even students with disability. And it's very hard to integrate them in society because they don't have access to education. Once I met, I forgot, a woman that was muda. I'll search it later. And she didn't know how to, she couldn't speak, okay, but she didn't know how to write or read because she didn't go to school. There wasn't someone to teach her, and it's very hard. I could still communicate with her, and I really liked her a lot. I saw her every day while I was walking with my dog, and for almost a year, and we could communicate. We could communicate, and it was very nice because I could see that she was lonely because she couldn't communicate with other people, and the other people in the park, they didn't have patience to talk because they didn't know how to the language signs. And once I looked in the internet to learn how to say my name, to introduce myself and say hi to her in English, in the sign language. But I thought she would be happy with that, but I found that she didn't know the sign language either. So she communicated with another gestures. But that's it. I know that today's topic, some question was a bit hard, but I find that's very interesting, bringing this kind of subjects that they're through our day to day. And I'd like to know about you guys. What did you think? And what didn't you, how about you didn't like, how you liked it? And I'd like to welcome Nathanael. Thanks for coming, Nathanael. You did great. I was so happy to have you here. I hope I can see you again. And please, guys, talk to me now and say your opinion. Share with me.
Okay. I like it today because how Letsa said, it's hard subject, but it helps improving our English. And yeah, and when hard question, and this is above our level for another level. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. What about you, Nathanael? What did you think of the meeting? Did you like? Didn't you like?
Good like, né? Today, second day in Talk and Talk is very good. Thank you.
Nice. You're welcome. Heitor,
I really enjoy talk about this subject, but I think it's a hard subject because sometimes I had a controversial opinion about that. And I'm a little afraid to say something, then I get bored people or sound weird. But well, I really enjoy to talk about that. I really want to do something relation about that, to discuss how to change the way then our children learn. I think this way just increases when I get a parent. So I want to my son have a different school than I had. But I really appreciate that.
thank you. Well, about your opinions, here is a safe place to speak, so you don't have to be worried about what to say, and we won't judge you. We're here to learn, to share our opinions, and it's great to know different points of view.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Letícia.
Okay, I have a strong opinions. Okay, but in my opinion, when you talk these different things, it's and when you listen different opinions, it's you increase yourself. It's the main point. And here it's a good place to try speaking more English and express your opinion in English. It's totally different when expressing Portuguese, for example,
Yeah.
but it's a good place to listen and understand and learn with other people. And in my opinion, it's a main point.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with you. That's different from Portuguese because sometimes I want to think about a word, but I don't know. So I go to the next thing, the next thought.
Yes. But it's important we talk about this because we work and study technology, and in the future, technology, it's not the future, it's at the time, but how to use the technology or how the impact of the technology is in the future, it's impossible to know now, but we here to talk about this.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much, guys. I'd like to ask you to, so don't forget to rate our meeting. I just sent you the link. You can leave any comments you'd like. And if you have suggestion for the next meeting, you can leave it here too. So I like to thank you all. I really, really enjoyed this meeting. I think it was very, it was a brainstorming for me. It was very nice. And I hope to see you guys next week. Have a great end of the week and good night for you all. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank
See you
you.
Bye-bye.
guys.